Welcome back to the Rob and Savage podcast. Look, I got some great gentlemen here today. Look, the makers, man. Look, if y'all ain't seen them in the city, y'all about to. I'm pretty sure y'all have, man. But look, I'm gonna start left to right. Let these young men explain who they are and what they do.
All right, so my name is Clarence Darkwood. I'm CEO of The Makers, also a serial entrepreneur that's known for Fiori Vodka. So if you haven't picked one up, please do.
Hey, and his brother code football.
So my name is Jonas Simon. I am the Chief Purpose and Communications Officer over at the Makers. Outside of that, I really just am just a big networker, connector. I love just finding out what people love to do, trying to help them communicate their ideas, connect with other people like them, that's aligned with their values, and then actually push whatever their purpose and move it along.
Perfect. My name is Kayvon Young Reeves. I am the Chief Engagement Officer at with the Makers. I'm also a software engineer by day. I enjoy teaching kids chess, and I'm the co-founder of Greenwood Studios here in Antioch. So check us out, Creative Space. And,
I'm Enrique Selman. I am the business development, chief business development person here at the Makers. So also I am a realtor, investor, and developer here in Nashville as well. I've been doing that for like about 8 years. And yeah, happy to be part of what we got going on here.
Man, look, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. I think here in Nashville, you know the stigma that we have. They don't see a lot of us be in these positions. But we know we've been here. We know they're here. You know, so I think that platforms like myself and others are going to start really boasting and showing what we do. But I mean, y'all gave a little bit of insight of what y'all do individually, man. How'd y'all come up with that name?
Well, so shout out to the previous team, the Playmakers. We kind of pivoted a little bit and brought some other members on. Some other members left, but we brought some other members on, and we just wanted to kind of keep that same flow. And as far as the Makers go, we just make things happen. You know, if we're throwing an event, if it's doing community service, we are pretty much our hands in everything. And the fact is, as you can see right now, we have members that are doing something. Somebody doing real estate. We have somebody that's in software engineering. So we make things happen, and that's just what it is for us. That's why we ended up keeping this the Makers.
Okay. And did all y'all go to college together or something like that?
No. I met Enrique. Me and Enrique have been best friends for God knows how long. I met him at Sprint. You know,
Okay.
So that's how
AT&T.
AT&T, one of them wireless companies
Right.
and stuff like that. I met Giannis through another friend of ours, Ida, who actually came up with the name Fiori for me, and Kayvon just started hanging out with us. And you know, when you meet brothers that we just have the same energy and we kind of focus on the same things, it just comes together naturally.
Hey, that's real. That's real. I mean, my circle's that way. I kind of gave y'all a brief story how me and Candace met. Yeah, same thing, genuine. Okay. So I mean, what's some projects y'all might be looking at, man? Because I know it's a lot of people, it's a lot of different groups in the city. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the Horsemen. I'm gonna get her to the the Four Horsemen, and a couple of others. What makes y'all stand out though so far? Because like I said, I've been seeing y'all in the mix. But what makes y'all separate yourself from the ones that already been out?
I would say this, and for us, is we want to be going back to what the name itself.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to touch every sector.
Okay.
So we've connected with Everybody versus Racism. Last year we did the food drive, and that's something I'm very passionate about. So we kind of get together. Well, hey, what can we talk about? Can we go visit some kids and let them know that there's some successful Black men doing things in the city that kids cannot see? That's something they want to do. So it's not just about parties. Of course, we want to have fun in the city and stuff like that, of course. But our main focus is not just about that. It's just about educating people, just being in the scenes and things that we're passionate about. So that's some. And real estate, Enrique is a part of real estate. So if anybody has a question or wants to know anything about real estate, we have somebody that can talk about that. You know, and anybody wants to know anything about entrepreneurship, I've gone through it, the ups and downs, the left and rights of it. So we can bring it. We can be part of every table and want to be part of every room. It's a natural.
Essentially, who the Makers are is we're the organization. First and foremost, it's a brotherhood. So it's a brotherhood of individuals who are together, just trying to push the culture forward. And that's really like to sum up everything that we're really about. That's really pretty much what it is. And in every avenue, like I said, whether it be in real estate, whether it be in a creative space, whether it be in entrepreneurship, and that's really mainly what we're about. And I think that's kind of maybe what set us apart, like having that real brotherhood. Like we are brothers first before making this. And we have, like you said, have that connection that you build with somebody that you meet. You vibrate on the same levels, and you understand that you're trying to go to the same place. It just makes it so much easier. It just kind of falls together. So.
No, I like that. Like I said, seeing y'all in the city, I've never categorized out yours towards like just entertainment.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've always seen y'all, of course, with the real estate on your side. I done business with Grove, you know what I'm saying, with the scooters and everything. So I'm like, I know, all right, cool. But I want people who might be looking into building their own team, what's the ups and downs with that, and what did y'all say, you know what, we're gonna branch away from the previous team and have our own. But what solidified you four men to like, we got this? I know you said y'all bring your things to the table and the brotherhood, but y'all had the trust factor. So how'd y'all get past that point? You know what I mean? Myself, I've gotten past that in my own group.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, it's the main thing, man, you're just scared to trust.
True. I mean, I would say for us, how we did it is just that we got to have a unified vision. We got to see, be on the same page about what do we see the makers actually doing?
Okay.
Where do you see this going?
Right.
So, like, having that kind of foresight, actually building that picture together is very important. And besides that, just in order to establish trust and rapport, you need to actually be able to communicate openly, be transparent, and be accountable for whatever your actions are. Like, if you mess up, just say, I don't know all the time. I'll stay silent.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing is like experience, like joining the organization kind of on the back end. Like I've been able to talk to these two and they have a vast amount of experience within Nashville and externally. So coming in and hearing them put down on the table, hey, this is what we're trying to do as a collective, and that aligning with me, and then connecting with our generation, talking together and realizing, oh snap, like we have all the cards. It's just about how we're going to make that play. So I can see how the original group got created, and then going from there to the makers, now we're just branching off of just making those plays within the entertainment into now a wider collective outside even Nashville. We're over here expanding into Dallas.
Yeah, okay.
Expanding into these different ethnic groups as well. So that's one thing I realized, that we're not just as individuals trying to reach out to one demographic or one industry. We're trying to branch out as individuals. So coming together is too.
I like that.
When it comes to the trust thing, it's just, that's an obstacle that's always going to be anytime you bring in this many people together as a collective. Because really, it's more than just 4 of us, so there's 7 of us.
Okay.
So two of our members live out of state.
I got you.
Our brother Mike Glenn, he lives in Dallas. He's in finance and banking. And then our brother Trey Martin, he lives in North Carolina, like outside of Charlotte. He's in engineering. So, and then we have another brother named Mac. He lives here in Nashville. He couldn't make it today, but he's the Greenwood Studios that they have together. That's pretty much his baby. That's his thing. So when it comes to any kind of videography, those type of things, like he's the
Oh yeah, shout out to Greenwood. Like I said, I was just there with Brad. Yeah, that was a good photo shoot.
So like when it comes to like the trust factors, it's about holding each other accountable. None of us are ever afraid to be able to do that. Like okay, if like you said, somebody dropped the ball on this or miss this, or hey, we're gonna do X with this money in this kind of way, and everybody be on the same page and making sure that respect everyone's ideas, visions, things like that. Like I said, just not being afraid to speak out and hold each other accountable. Or if we have something that we want to talk about that may be bothering, we put it on the table. Like we'll be in the middle of something, we'll be going back and forth and maybe, and then we'll be like, hey, let's get on a call right now. Let's talk about this. And then we'll all just, we all got iPhones, so boom, hop on, FaceTime, boom, we'll all just talk about it. So yeah, so that's how we're able to kind of navigate that.
Yeah, hold each other accountable. I like that. So basically y'all started here in Nashville. What's the thing that y'all see that y'all group can really help Nashville out? What do y'all think Nashville's missing? That's the key. I think everybody want to know what that is.
I think for me, I think it's unity. I think it's too small for us not to be unified. I think, especially being an entrepreneur in there, the grab the barrel mentality, I learned that the hard way. But yeah, so I love sharing ideas with people. I think what we want to bring as a unified group is a unity, because there's not a lot of us here. Right? You talk about Nashville, all we hear is downtown. Cowboy City, or they think we're still riding around with cowboys and stuff like that. But
get you a pair of snakes. Some python.
And just trying to follow some of the footsteps of some of the ones that came behind us, like You know, I always give a shout out to Josh Mundy. He's been a big influence in my life as far as that goes, and just understanding the unity that we all can get it together, and that's super important. So if we can establish that in this city, that would be our ultimate goal, and we want to take it outside of this city. We want it to be more than just a Nashville thing. I want it to be a Tennessee thing. I want it to be an international thing, you know. So our vision is just bigger than what we're just this city alone. But we got to solidify this city.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. I mean, I think Nashville's growing. You got so many implants here, transplants, and their mind is open to different things. I think a lot of the old folks are getting out, because like even in the real estate world, like there's a lot of, you know, going back to the crab and grill, it's a lot of what's the word for gatekeeping, big time.
Thanks.
Big time. But I think that the new money that's coming in town with these tech companies, we can get in hold with them and let them see what we can do. And they're more open-minded.
Yeah.
And they come from the West Coast. They deal with minors.
Diversity.
Right. Okay.
I would say also engagement.
Okay.
You know, like Nashville, let's take the industry of parties.
Mm-hmm.
What normally happens at a party? Go there, get drinks, meet people, but then what? You know, what do you leave with?
Right.
So my goal, especially within the makers, is to create more engaging environments so that for those who are, you know, I'm a software engineer, so naturally we're a little more introverted, going into these spaces knowing that, hey, I don't have to do all of the work to make these new connections. I'm already in the environment, and now I have a collective or a group that are helping steer me towards making these new networking opportunities. I know you're big on networking. You know, I asked you this stuff like earlier. It's like, how do you convert those connections? Because I feel like in Nashville, there's connections all around. There's money here, especially, you know, I'm coming from South Carolina.
Okay.
You know, so going from South Carolina to Nashville, I'm seeing like, oh, Nashville has money here, but where is it at?
Yeah.
You know, and I've been in these rooms, but like, I don't know, like, how do I get my hand in that pot?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I can spill off on that, man. So my experience, my journey with networking, I used to call myself the plug for a minute, the connector. You know what I mean? And I meant that, and I still call myself that, but I mean it because I know I go in these rooms, I analyze, okay, who's gonna be there. I try to Google search or whatever I gotta do to figure out what they, you know, their lives, and just be real. You know what I mean? I'm not broke, you know what I mean, far from it, but I'm also not, in these rooms I go into, I'm not the highest paid person there. So, but one thing I learned is I'm gonna go into these rooms with gifts, win them over that way. You know, even though most rich folks, especially billionaires, they already get everything they want, but they don't really get something given to them. People are always trying to take from them. So I go in, it might be a Chardonnay, but anything, like I'm gonna bring something to the table and then push my movement. Again, being in Nashville, I'm majority of the time, I'm the only minority. You know, I'm light skinned. I'm still the only black man in the room. Yeah. So it's like, man, how am I gonna address this, man? So I always go in and I build that friendship with them and don't seem like I need something from them. They know I'm here to elevate myself, but don't let it show on your face. Yeah. It's real. I will add. Okay.
No, I'll just add on that. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're watering down who you are too.
Nah.
Like you're using yourself as your personal brand, which I think is very important. Just be fully authentic all the time.
So, I mean, like I was telling y'all earlier, I mean, before you came here, I had the guy on this bill, I had him in limelight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just by built that rapport with him.
Yeah.
And then I said, bro, you know, if you really want to get out, he was stressed about some things at the time. I said, just come on out with me and my guy. I think he gonna just brush us off. He texted me at the time and ended up taking him to limelight at the time. It was like, it was a billionaire.
So something different.
Right. See something different. So I built that rapport with them, and you know, it's been a brotherhood.
But you've been doing that. If you look at the series, I loved it when you post something like, man, let me tell you about this picture, man. You've been doing that for a very long time, you know, for some of these clubs that you were part of, and Deshaun, and I've seen Deshaun, and Deshaun still looks the same.
Yeah.
He made the bid. He got the
Benjamin
Button thing. Yeah. And so, like, what have you learned, I guess, for us to kind of, we like to learn as well, but what have you learned from that progression of being in those type of rooms to this type of room? Like, what has changed and what has not changed?
Be honest with you, bro, when you on top, like at those times when I'm in the rooms at the time, even outside of playing sports, I was just still being humble, bro. No matter how much money I might pocket. If I had a, for example, like a lot of people don't know how me and Desi Banks experienced. When Desi Banks, before he became this comedian y'all see on there, I used to be in Atlanta all the time in my young football days. We might get a section. He played at Morehead State and Murray State, so to go against him. But if I'm in Atlanta and we out there balling my ball, Bleak and all that, we got a section. He was like, "Hey man, can I sit with y'all?" But he remembered for playing sports. Like, "Hey guy, come on." So just imagine when now he on top, and that's the same dude that made sure I was straight. He came and just keep on doing that. I mentioned y'all about the Charleston White thing. He came here. I came here bearing gifts. Like I take it if I get an opportunity to be somewhere, I want to take full advantage. Mike Epps just came in town here. I ain't never met Mike Epps before, but I got a friend of mine named Sibo. Shout out to Sibo. He's a comedian here, and him and Mike Epps like this. Been like this for years. He from Nashville. He said, "Bro, you want to pull up? You can." I pulled up with him, walked in. I promise y'all, before that night was over with, I had Mike Epps calling me nephew. Yeah, it's over with. So to answer your question, man, just don't be no asshole going to these places. If you get the opportunity, just make the best of it. And also learn how to code switch. I won't say it on camera. Sometimes you got to do it. You know what I mean? I'm hood 80% of the time, but I know when to change. You know what I'm saying?
Turn it on.
Yeah. This time.
Yeah.
But don't be the corny hood. Code switch. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, you gotta do it right.
Right. Yeah. Just keep it professional. I mean, like with anything in networking, like I'm very big on that. I'm a very social individual, so I'm always kind of just out somewhere.
Yeah.
And it pours into me. For me, some people their social media like for me, mine goes up. As I'm out meeting new people, connecting with people, and that has done so much for me in business, in my life, meeting these individuals. When I first started really, because back in the day when you in Nashville, it's like if you live in a certain area, you stayed over there. You know what I'm saying? You had no business going out west. You didn't live out west. You had no business going out south. You like, what you doing out here?
To piggyback on what he's talking about, I grew up out east.
Yeah.
I ain't go to Antioch until I didn't even know. I thought Antioch was Brentwood.
That's right.
Until I got a car and then got to my high school. Yes, man, that's what
See, it was the opposite for me. I lived in Antioch. You didn't come out here. Like, Germantown was the hood for me. Like,
and it was
back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So you don't cross past Briley. You cross past Briley, it's a problem. So, and honestly, it was like that all the way till you moved over here when we moved to the Fort Side.
So that's what I was going to get to. Like growing up, I just stayed in the areas I stayed in, went to the same parts of the areas of my neighborhood and the same circle of friends. And then as I was like, I know I wanted more for myself. So as I had to start expanding, I was like, okay, and I would just start having to step out and go places by myself, and that just made me become more extroverted and it just became like easy. It started to become more fun, just going to meet new people, and it was exciting. And then when he got started coming out with me, and we started just moving around the city, meeting more and more people, just growing our network, and it's done wonders for my life, I'm sure for his life, for his business, and things like that. And we want to keep doing those type of things, and that's really what when it comes to the makers and what we want to try to do is, like you were saying, is bridging those gaps and making everyone in the city understand it doesn't have to be so cliquish. We can all everybody can work together. We want to work with everybody. Like we're not opposed to connecting, networking, and building with anybody in any kind of groups. Like you said, everybody versus racism. Different people who do parties and events. We want to collab with them, all of that kind of stuff. So because everybody can come together. We got so many people in the city who don't know what to do, where to go, what to be part of. We want to kind of showcase that too.
And you're right. What I will say, since you brought that partisan thing, I think the difference I've seen in that, and forgive me, I follow y'all listeners, y'all what I'm about to say on this. There is a difference on our party scene. I feel like you have the college educated scene, formerly whatever, and then you got I didn't go to college, but I still got a good job. Right. And they entertain a little different. Yeah. So I love Black Rob, I love Chad, but those are two different cliques, but they're still the same. They're on the same tree, but you're gonna see a different crowd at Caroline's though. You're gonna see a different crowd at was it 3,000 bars, something like that. Those are all different demographics. So, but yes, the cliquish thing. Like me and my guy Tyler, we was the main one that was doing that, going to these different places by ourselves, being the elephant in the room. But you gotta get past it. And I think that's one thing that's hurting Black Nashville, even when it comes to entrepreneurs. They want to be that, but don't get out there. You gotta get out there. And I really mean that towards our female entrepreneurs. Yeah. Those are the main ones. Those are the main people who come to me asking the questions. The men, they get it. You tell them that, like y'all ask that, oh yeah, okay, I get it. The women, well, I don't want to. No, you can't tiptoe.
can't be a secret agent. That's what I say.
Right.
Like whether you're a real estate agent, an insurance agent, or whatever your title is, you can't be a secret.
You can't do that.
Like, you gotta be out there, put yourself out there, and let yourself be known. Like you say, you're right. A lot of the women, like the ones that I meet at these different networking events, and they ask me this question, I'm like, yeah, you gotta. I said, jump on out there.
Yeah, I'm an introvert now.
Yeah,
They're not working this.
Yeah.
That's good, man. You got to do this. Yeah.
Right.
That was a difficult thing. That crab in the barrel mentality was difficult for me to understand, right? Because culturally, I'm originally from Ghana. Culturally, we're different. Giannis being from Eritrea, yeah. Because it was very difficult for me to understand what it was. And not to get too political, but I had to go back and learn the history of why that is, right? What because I tell people, like, in Africa, they don't teach us about slavery. We don't know anything about it.
Right.
You guys got free, and allowed you guys to be free, and you didn't do anything with it. That's the mentality that we have. So I was kind of thrown in at my adulthood of crab and barrel mentality. And I think one thing that, again, when you know better, you do better, right? So we're trying to change that narrative of, like, hey, we can work with everybody. We can be in those rooms, even if it's not a black room. Like, if it's a multicultural room, if it's a white room, whatever it is, we can walk in there and we don't see color. We just do business together.
I think we got to start looking, and I agree with you. I think we got to start looking at things sometimes also tribalism. We think it's racialism, but it's really tribal. You know what I'm saying? Because, because really, the main reason why we even have that crab in the barrel / racism in our own stuff is because of when we was slaves, they all looped us in this one whole thing. They were all cool. So, even when we was in Africa, we was beefing with each other.
Oh, yeah.
You might have been,
Still do.
Right. You was a Cushite. You Ethiopian, or you might have been. But then they put you all together. Now, they wonder why we have these issues. And you kind of say the modern day sounds like Bloods and Crips, in a sense. You know what I mean? We got to get past that. I mean, we got examples, though. Atlanta is doing it, but Atlanta really doing it because they got a lot of transplants. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right.
I love Charlotte. I was out there for 2 years. Charlotte, they catching on. Big time. That's what y'all need to look at. You were saying.
Trey tells us all the time. That's the city.
Yeah, Charleston. And then Austin, Texas. It's like, to me, the Nashville version of Texas.
Yeah. Everybody says. Yeah.
That's our main direct competitor when it comes to these tech companies.
Gotcha.
They beat us out for Tesla. We beat them out for Oracle and Amazon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
UT out there too.
Austin, yeah. Shoot.
Well, we got Andy out here.
Yeah, we got Vandy got more money than
Far as tech.
Oh, tech wise, yeah.
But
But Vandy, they own everything on West End.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they can take a poll and drive
They take all down. They own the whole street. You know what I mean? So, that's good. And plus, the Vanderbilt family, that's New York. They just chose to put this down here. So, it's deeper than rap.
So I got a question. As far as us as a collective breaking down that boundary, that barrier between black and white. Because we are in Nashville, and I feel like a lot of people, they don't understand that you still have to branch out into these other ethnic groups to make moves happen if you really want to drive the needle in the city. Not just in your community and not just, within the black clubs and whatever. I'm talking about, like, as a city, how do you drive the needle? Like, how do you break down that wall between our people and
You have to go start hanging with them. I learned a true story. I didn't want to mention Savage story. It's a true story. Me and my boy Tyler, I got invited to Acme. I know the owner, Tom Morales. He actually was one of the reasons why I had got a shot at the league. I had took my child I was in college, to something to eat at the Southern when it first opened up. And he spilled some alcohol on me. You know what I mean? He didn't know who I was. I knew he was. But, found out he's like a social drunk or whatever. But he invited us to the table and found out he owned the whole place, and then told him what my dreams was. He did assist that. He helped out. And then we ended up becoming business partners with the woodwork. I remember. So he made me a minority owner of that. We did the gospel Sundays and Thursday night R&B there. He wanted me to get involved because he wanted to change the narrative of woodwork, because everybody know about woodwork for the sit-ins and all that. So he kept real with me. He said, "Look, man, I need you. I helped you get your shot at the league. I need you to help me on this because I want to make sure that elderly blacks feel comfortable coming to my establishment."
Right.
And we did that. The only thing that killed it was COVID. Nobody was eating our brunch together no more because everybody at home. And then, he sold it to another group now. It's a theater. But just kicking it with them, bro. Like, go to Broadway. I know it's so taboo to us locals about get down there. Go down there, bro. Like, how you think, even though we know Snoop and Dr. Dre got their own thing down in there, because they've been down there. Yeah, they named whole weight, but it ain't no whole weight in Nashville like that.
No.
They had to come down there and get mingled. Nashville is different, bro. Like the white population in Nashville, don't get it twisted, the majority of people are from the West Coast now.
Yeah.
The ones we grew up with, they live in the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
Now their grandkids might be trying to move in because they getting tired of living in the country, but they here. But really, and they still open minded too. They went to school with us. You just gotta kick it with them. That's all. And just they really admire us, bro.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's still gonna be some racism in there at some point. They might feel like elitist or whatever, but they want to do everything we do. They just want to be cool. That's what I've noticed. And to be honest, I'm one of the most pro-black people y'all ever meet in your life. I promise. Militant. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Militant with it, but it's just that. But I know, man, it's a book y'all should read called The Spook That Stepped Out the Door.
The who?
The Spook That Stepped Out the Door.
Spook Just Said by the Door.
Yeah, it's a movie about it and it's a book about it. Basically, give you a short breakdown of it. It's a black man who's like working for FBI, but he also had his ear to the streets to let us know what's coming down the pipeline. He's still holding that door open. He was kind of helping out the Black Panther Party too, and some others. But I sometimes look at myself like that's me. How you put me in these doors, in these rooms, because my focus, I was a football guy, bro, athlete, whole time. So me transitioning to this it's still mind blowing.
I mean, it's just dope and amazing to see, though. Just journey, like you said, coming from being a sports guy, athlete, and all the stuff that you do in the community in Nashville, all the people that you connect with, it's an amazing story that just also shows when you just put in the effort and when you follow up and when you do the little things, what you can do, what you can grow with. So, nobody should have any excuses. Just, you trusting yourself and going forward and doing what you can do.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that. I will say this. I did have a little upper hand. My upper hand with that, and I've said it sometimes in my other podcasts. So I went to White Creek, it's hood school. I'm from out east, hood area. What changed my focal point on life, y'all, is my first 2 years in college. My first 2 years in college, I didn't go straight to TSU. I went to a junior college in Arizona called Scottsdale Community College. I had to go out there because my grades weren't good out of White Creek, but I had the talent. At the time, Ole Miss, Marshall, Louisville, UT was looking at me. UT looking at track also, but I had a grades. So they said, well, we come get you, but you had to go to JUCO. So just imagine I graduated high school in 2007. I had to go all the way to 2,000 miles away with 6 other guys who went to high school with me because their grades messed up too, but we all were good. You know what I'm saying? In a 2-bedroom apartment in Arizona. In Scottsdale, if y'all don't know, y'all ever been out there, that's the Greenwood Franklin of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Money. And I'm like, man, we going out there, bro. We still sagging, got gold teeth, dreads. It's different. You know what I mean? They was already, looking like Nipsey then. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, man, go out there. But it was my culture shock. I go from being the majority of my class all the time. We only had all total maybe 9 white people in my high school. I go out there, I'm day one to minority. Day one, I'm talking about. And they ain't letting you cheat on their papers. They doing this. I was like, yeah, it is. So it was just, so I had to learn how to, like I said, I don't necessarily say code switch, but I had to learn how to navigate and talk with them and see how cool them. I did have some white teammates out there too. One of my teammates, his dad was loaded. You know what I mean? He used to bring us, let's eat with them on Friday nights. So that eased up my feelings towards white folks. You know what I mean? Because I come from a family where my uncle was killed in the civil rights movement. He got ran over by a white man. So that's been a hatred there from my dad, hating that in a sense, my granddad.
Past that.
Well, my dad kind of got out of it because he did go to the military. He made some white friends, but my granddad, it was kind of like, you're going to get your side with, you know what I mean? So knowing that in the back of my mind, so I'm going out there, and we from the South, it's still what it is. I was hesitant, but I had that white teammate whose dad used to always have us over to eat. So okay, pretty cool then. All right, and then I never did mess with a white girl, so I didn't know how that was my entry in it. So I know how, you know what I mean.
That's a lot of potential.
Somebody be that. Like mine wasn't that. I just had a team that, you know what I mean. But it stuck with me. So when I did transfer back here and went to TSU, now I'm back home. But now I got this new knowledge. I know how to talk now. You know what I mean, I was scared to talk before I went to Arizona. Heck yeah, what? I ain't want to say nothing. I just want to just play sports.
Yeah.
Ask my dad or something. Ask my mom. I ain't trying to talk. So all that changed. And then now, so when I got back to Nashville, now I got this new confidence. I'm back at the HBCU. You know how that environment is. And it was they just made a monster. for real. 'Cause now I know how to talk, and now I'm back amongst my people. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, boom, boom, that quick.
That's dope.
So, and I will say at that time, I know y'all here, y'all from here too, but at that time, Black Nashville in like 09 and 10 was different.
Oh yeah, way
We was kind of more together a little bit. Yeah, a lot of clubs still on Jefferson Street, a lot of clubs on Second.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Completely different.
so it's a different world now.
Yeah.
And they like how it is.
What happened? What was the
You know,
downside?
from
I know.
my perspective, I used to work at Blazing 106. It was a hip hop station.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
It was 2 hip hop stations.
Yeah.
It was 101.
Yeah. Actually, 3. You had 92Q, 101, and 106.
Yeah. So 92Q and Blazing was in the same building, Cumulus.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Taz Daddy. That's
Mhm.
I used to be in the studio with him all the time. And second, we used to have the truck. We'll pull up. That was my job. I was an intern there. I met John Little there. We'll pop the truck. Go sit at a club on Second Avenue, get paid $25 an hour. From my perspective, and I want to hear from like your perspective in that capacity, is that I think that became a lot more aggressive. Like there was a lot more shootings that was going on Second Avenue, and you don't mess with that kind of money.
You don't mess with that.
You don't mess with that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? Like if you kind of compare it to now, white folks are out there. They wilding out too. They doing a whole different type of wild now. They cocaine and roofing people and stuff like that.
In the realer.
Yeah, don't hear them say doing things like that. But back then it was just everything was cool. I mean, Second Avenue used to be shut down. Like every Friday, Saturday, you just had to walk. You couldn't drive through it.
And what was the thing they used to do in the summertime? Something on the river.
They still do it.
Still do it?
So the guy I mentioned earlier about with the Southern and Acme, Tom, that's his stage. You have to pay him to use the stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything you see that stage is floating on the river, that's his stage.
Yeah, because Broadway was more country a little bit, and then Second Ave was us.
Us.
I remember like, you go to the club, you go to the after club. What was the club? What's the club?
Yeah, Twilight Faded. Hurricane.
Central down there.
Grand Central.
Graham,
Yeah,
yeah.
was that 3-story?
Yeah, Graham,
I went
Graham
to
now is
Playground.
No, that's the draft king.
Draft King, yeah.
Yeah, that's where.
Oh, okay.
that's
So
where-
yeah,
that's where,
Playground is on the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was walking the
Playground
stairs.
on top, and then you got the draft kings thing, and you
Yeah.
got the PM bar, then now still in gins at the
Still
bottom.
in Jen, yeah.
Oh, still in Genesis at the bottom?
Yeah, you been still
all-
in gin before.
Everything's in one.
Oh,
It's changed. Like when Gary had his event there.
yeah.
Like that's still a gin.
Gotcha.
It's a
Yeah.
different name then. Now still.
Yeah, Nashville has changed in that capacity because it was just fun. But for what I heard, because me and John was out 5 days a week. We had our routine, that we went to.
Mhm.
And then it just, from what I understood it, that somebody was shooting it up and you messed it up. So they had to change the culture that was going around there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
before to answer your question, you're right. So Nashville goes in waves. So before Second, like anybody who's like 45 and older, it was Metro Center, Club Malibu. That's what Tupac and I used to come to. I did a Savage store on that, and then you had still downtown. You had it's just Shoutout now, but back in the day it was the Mix Factory.
Mix Factory.
So you had all that. It was and also Nashville was different. You didn't have so much in it. I'm gonna get back to your question too. Because I have a real answer for that. Another reason why Nashville is so divided, bro, is because there's so much entertainment that's put on our entertainment. So in the '90s, bro, and '80s, the only entertainment was TSU football game or basketball game. We're gonna say football game, and hopefully a concert coming
To the municipal.
to the municipal. And then the last big one that came, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, was NWA, LL Cool J, and the girl got killed. So she got trampled. I'm surprised it wasn't in the NWA movie. I mean, I understand why. But so they came here, LL Cool J and Ice Cube had their thing at the municipal, and a young lady got trampled to death. So that was like a big stain. But after that, then they eventually built Bridgestone. But all the entertainment was just going to TSU or Come Together Day or something like that. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, man, it was the shooting and stabbing, and also us black folks randomly knocking out drunk white folks.
Right.
That was a real thing. That was a real thing. I remember I was in high school. Some of my high school homies did that. Like, just be white dudes.
Random tourists.
So saying something wild.
Yeah.
And so that was the issue. So we gotta get that back. At least I had laser tag, and spaghetti factory. So I was up out of there. So it's over now. And that back, if y'all remember, St. Avenue used to be two-way. You can go down it too.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you better.
Yeah, now you just go up one
I'm
way.
a new guy. I moved here 5 years ago.
Okay, oh yes,
He a true
dude.
Yeah.
So he didn't see
So
my
every time
flag.
I hear this history, oh my God, I'm like starstruck. I'm like, Nashville used to be this way?
Yeah. We the last club that was Barflies, eh?
That was on second.
Mm-hmm. The Barflies.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what Black Rob had that.
yeah.
Exactly.
What year was that?
2000,
9, 10.
maybe even 12.
Maybe
A little
12,
bit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just over with. And then on third you had Jazz and Joe's.
Yeah, Joe.
So it was we was on it.
I think like the last of the Mohicans was like Limelight.
Yeah,
Limelight.
Limelight.
Last
I
one
got
they
to
put
experience
together.
that
You did.
one time. And then it
Was
was
it 3 for 1s or
No,
4 for 1s?
Mhm.
With that cheap
Limelight.
liquor, man. It'd be
Crazy.
crazy.
And then the dancing too.
It's supposed to be a pregame spot, but sometimes you just stay there the whole
Yeah.
time.
Next thing you know, you come in at 5 and leave at 2.
Too. Yeah, for real. Yeah, all day. Yeah, all day.
That's insane. True.
It's interesting to see Nashville change as the progression of how it's been, right? So even when I left for the military and came back, it was different. You know, I think that every 10 years it feels like it's become different, you know. So, and that's important, going back to what we started from, is connected, you know, like we want to be able to change, be part of every change, and we can have, be part of the growth. And when you're a part of that change and part of that growth, you have a say. You know, I think what Nashville is now, we don't have a say, right? It is what it is, whatever name is popping up. I will say, one of my, Jelly Roll's my favorite guy. I went to high school, that's my guy. So I'm glad that he has a bar down there. I think he has a bar. But, you know, it's just one of those, every day there's a pop, that the new bar pops up with a name on it. But we never see us having a bar pop up. So having a Snoop and Dre, that's, you know, it's close to what, but what is about the people that are from Nashville, you know, like I would love to see that capacity.
For us, and shout out to Jeff Rowe, we actually are giving him an award Monday at the Mental Health Summit. It's going to be this Monday. Him and Quantic Cash. That's how you know also, you know, slavery ain't that far long ago. If I'm 36, be 37 this year, and me have any kind of connection with somebody who had a conversation with slavery, let you know they really ain't that far long ago. You know what I mean?
How did that shape you as a person hearing those stories?
It can do two things. It can harden your heart, or it can make you like, okay, I got it right here. I know they can be capable of. Let me just still move forward. You know what I mean? It was stories. I mean, he not necessarily just his story. He my dad's story. Like, yeah, my dad was born in 1950, so he went through segregation big time. He went to Cameron. He came out in '68. He told me the stories when
Bust them into the
right, because you know that started actually in 1957 segregation, but it don't mean it happened that day. You know what I mean? The other cities had adopted it to the 60s something. You know what I mean?
Definitely the South.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still a bunch of stuff they had to get used to, though.
Had to get used to.
Just gonna open it.
Right. So you had my I don't know if y'all noticed, but JCUC, the project outside, used to be one side was white side, the other side was black side. So so that was a real thing. You had to walk down the street. It could be a young white boy the age of my son, and a grown black man. He got to duck his head like that's a grown man, and that boy might call him a boy. He can't do nothing. So it's like, well, so he went through that time. Then, of course, my uncle, my dad's brother getting killed. That was crazy. He got killed, and all the thing he got from the city was like $4,000.
That's a lot.
And that's like, I mean, I don't know how much it is in 1967, but that's all. Our family got it, yeah.
That's what you're saying, that person's life is worth it.
Yeah. And he still, the dude went to jail, and he didn't get no life sentence.
You got out.
Yeah, he got out. He'd be dead now. He's probably over 100 something now. But yeah. But, because he was an older guy then. But, yeah, man, like, it was just a different world. That's why I threw the thing I said about Antioch. You know, we young. But you ask people that grew up in the cities and said, no, Antioch was the wood. That was like, they went from the woods, then it went from kind of Richie area. And then, from what the elders tell me, they say, towards the end of the 90s, early 2000s, it got more Hispanic. And then Section 8 came in and killed it. But growing up, you made it. You moved out there.
Yeah.
That was that and Madison.
Yeah, that was a good mall was at.
Wow.
Yeah, Madison was that way. Madison was like Green Hills. I got pictures. I'm gonna put them up. I got pictures of Madison looking like Green Hills, bro.
That's scary.
I
And
think
some parts of Madison still look like Green
Yeah,
Hill.
yes. And I think what it is, and it shows the power of kind of gentrification is what is happening because if you look at downtown, at least from my perception, I want to hear what you think is you had the hood all around downtown. You had hoods right here, those colorful homes right off of Charlotte. Those were the hoods.
Do you know why they did that? For the construction workers. These homes wasn't built just to put Negroes in. It was built for the interstate workers because the interstate, man, look, the interstate didn't get done to like the mid '80s. We just think it's been done for years now. Like, but it's good.
Killed Jefferson Street, or like that whole Jefferson area.
I'm gonna say this. I know I got pushed for time. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah. I'm here for the history.
I'm gonna leave it on this.
Yeah.
This is my feelings on that Jefferson Street thing, and I ain't got some flat for people, but I'm going from people who was around, and also just my own simple Google search. To me, what killed Jefferson Street and other streets in America, but I'm talking about Jefferson Street. The interstate is a factor, y'all. But nah, bro, that ain't what killed Jefferson Street. Because if you look at where the interstate is at, it's at the end of Jefferson.
Yeah.
Ain't no business like that, but a barbershop.
Yeah.
What killed Jefferson Street to me was segregation ending. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed, the first mall in the South, where is it at?
First mall in the South.
Here. 100 Oaks. 1968.
That's pretty much
First mall in the South. So now you got this mall just opened up, and it's the first of its kind. Segregation ended. Now us black folks can go eat there. Shop there. We abandoned our city we already had. Like Jefferson Street was our mall street, like our strip mall. Murfreesboro was too. Lafayette, all that. That was our. We go to shop there too. But when segregation ended, oh shit, I can do what I can do. I can go. Okay, I can. I can go to Ed Fish, but I don't want Ed Fish. I don't want Ed Fish that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So now, and that's what really killed it over time. We had our own hotels on Jefferson Street. You understand to stop that? We just chose to go to Holiday Inn. You still had your one. You still had a movie theater, all those things. We just got.
We want to do what they were doing.
We want to do that's right. So like that's why I feel, and I could be wrong. I feel like what Martin Luther King was saying that he said I feel like I led my people to a burning building because he probably seen the light that they ain't gonna do right. It was all going to do, but we abandoned our own stuff. You know what I mean? The interstate was a factor because it wasn't homes or stuff back there, but I'm talking about business wise. You still got the whole other side of Jefferson, all the way to Mount Zion. You could still kept that. You know what I mean?
Very true.
You hear about musicians coming to Jefferson Street.
Yeah.
Like,
Jimmy Hendrix, he was there all the time. And they used to go on Broadway and sneak over to Jefferson Street and play and go back to Broadway.
Didn't James Brown come too?
James Brown, all of them.
Everybody.
Michael Jackson got his honorary degree for this.
What?
You got to look this up. Yeah, I did that too. And then the guy, ironically, the doctor said killed him was married. Conrad Murray. He was married. Bro, it's like, man, look, if you take away Nashville when it comes to civil rights movement, anything, there ain't no civil rights movement. Because most of the civil rights leaders got their education either here or left. They got it at American Baptist College. They got, what's the name went? Look at the street name after my dad. Lewis. Yeah, he went to American Baptist College. A lot of people here in the city don't even know that's HBCU. They just think about TSU, Fish, and Harry. That's one too. So like, no, it's here, bro. You take away us. I feel like they always want to give Birmingham and all the other places. Yeah, all that. Man, you take us away, you ain't got nothing. Real music-wise, the cell phone.
I think also where we're located, so we would easily be able to get access to all these southern states. You know what I mean? Nashville is like right in the middle. And like within 3 hours, you can get to anywhere, all these other southern states. So you know what I'm saying? It made sense for like a lot of the other for that to be here in the city. You know what I'm saying?
But it also could be a detriment to us. Hopefully, knock on wood, literally, that it doesn't happen. That could put us in the risk of if you say they want to do a nuclear thing, we right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? That's all the interstate. You got three. They go right through here. You cut off supply. Like that's the only thing that would scare me if it would happen.
Well, knock on wood, it don't happen.
Right.
But I do know we have an event to highlight.
Oh yeah.
So before we close.
Let everybody know about everything y'all got coming up, bro.
Yeah. All right, so we do have Thoroughbred. It is a derby party. It's going to be on May 3rd at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yeah, at Tall Tales down in East Nashville. It's a very nice rooftop. We have a couple reels, photos, sponsorships. Would y'all like to highlight some sponsors?
Well, Fiori's definitely one of the sponsors. So I just let everybody know Fiori's now made here in Nashville. So it's a local brand now. but we're going to be part of it. I think we have
Black Sheep Tequila.
Black Sheep Tequila is going to be part of it, and then we have Barstown Bourbon is a sponsor as well. So we're going to make some great cocktails, especially if you like some espresso martinis. That's what I'm about. So that's what we're doing, and we have some cool DJs, some local legends. CeeLo is going to be DJing, and we have DJ Tiki.
Tiki After Dark.
Yeah,
Check out the dark and DJ intro as well.
yeah. And then shout out to Ryan and Everett. They're going to be providing cigars as well. So it's going to be a whole experience.
Yeah. Best dress contest too. So where your hat, your style.
Yeah.
You got style.
Derby wear.
Yeah.
To the T.
Yeah.
Tickets on sale now. The link is on our bio on our Instagram page. So
Give me your Instagram page too.
it's at the Makers ENT, which stands for the Makers Enterprise. So at the Makers ENT, go to our page. Please follow. Check out what we got going on. New things we're gonna have going forward in the city. And so the link is there for you to go and get tickets. The tickets do come with an open buffet. We're having a buffet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have an open buffet. So you're not just gonna be paying for entry. You're gonna get something with your ticket. You're gonna get food. You're gonna get a complimentary drink. And so it's gonna be a good time. Derby themed affair. So definitely come check it out.
Hey, look, man, I'm glad y'all had us here. Man, it's major. I do want to do one quick little shout out. Your studio.
Yeah.
Man, we got to get Candace in there just to see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
already talking.
Yeah.
He was already talking.
Candace, she my lifeline right there, man.
Yeah.
Look, man, appreciate y'all, man. We got to do this again. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you having us, man.
Most deaf, man. Look, stay tuned.